What's up, guys? It's McKinley, Crain here, and before I get into what this video is actually going to be about, I'm sick. I'm sick. I have a stupid cold with some occasional body aches and occasional headaches, which is why my nose and mouth are so red, because when I've been blowing my nose, I haven't been using, the lotion, the tissues with the lotion on them. I have been using them sometimes, but, usually I get lazy and I don't want to get up, and I've just been using other things which have really irritated my face. So if you're wondering what this, and this is about, also why I may not be sounding or looking too good in this video, that's why. Anyway, today, I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free movie review of the Hyperions. Now, let's get into it. So, for those of you who don't already know, the Hyperions is a 2022 comedy action drama film, and it's a Daily Wire original. It's their third original movie. Okay, I know that could get a little annoying in the video, so I'll try to not sniffle in this video as much as I can, but I can only keep it under control so much. And it's a pretty good movie. So the second half is better than the first half. The first half is good but not great. It's got some great moments in it, but overall the first half is just good. However, the second half is really great. The second half of this movie is really great, and it's part of what makes this movie a great film overall, even though the first half was only good, but not great. And by the way, this isn't an action movie. It's got some action in it, but it's not an action movie. It's a drama, and just to be honest, this movie is kind of like, it's technically a superhero movie, and it's disguised as a superhero movie, and there's some superhero movie stuff in there, like some superhero stuff, and these people are like superheroes and ex-superheroes, but it's honestly like more of a family drama film, in my opinion, than a superhero movie, even though it's about superheroes. And this film takes place back in like the 1970s, and it has a lot of references to like superhero shows and the ways that superheroes were portrayed back in the early 70s and the 1960s. Like, it kind of reminded me of 60s Batman show. There were some wacky moments in it. There were some wacky moments in this movie that kind of reminded me of that. And kind of like the costumes and everything kind of reminded me of, the 60s Batman show. And speaking of costumes and visuals, the costumes and visuals in this movie are excellent. The visuals they kind of look like something out of a Wes Anderson movie. Not entirely, but they kind of remind me of something out of a Wes Anderson movie, a little bit. And that's a good thing. That you can tell that this movie is low budget at times, but that's not really a bad thing. Like, the blood looks kind of fake, but who cares? There are times in this movie where the editing, specifically towards the beginning of the movie, where the editing is good but not great. But overall, the editing in this movie is great. There are some moments in the beginning where the acting is good but not great, and the dialogue is good but not great. But throughout the film, it's mostly great. and overall, the acting and dialogue is great. And this movie had some pretty clever writing. So basically, what happens in this movie is like, there was this. It kind of like gets this from X-Men a little. So there was this team of superheroes back in the '60s, and they were like a family, and some of the superheroes like grew up, and as those superheroes grew up, new ones came in, and they were like first and second generations, and some, two of this old superheroes want their powers back, because their powers were actually genetically engineered into them through like these badge thingies that kind of remind me of the badges from like Tomorrowland, the movie Tomorrowland. And they're apparently like stored at like this Hyperion museum. So they break in. These two superheroes break in. Well, ex-superheroes break in and try to get them back. Now, I'm not gonna like tell you entirely why these two superheroes are trying to get these little power button things back, because that would be like a spoiler. That goes into spoiler territory, and this is a spoiler-free review. I told you I was sick. Sorry, guys. All right, back to the video. But I can tell you there is motive, and it does tie into the family, and it does tie into other things and like character. And speaking of the characters in this movie feel very real. They feel like real people with real motivations, and real relationships. They feel very real. And that's part of what makes this movie so great. The characters feel like real people and don't just feel like caricatures. And the interactions between the characters actually bring a lot of heart to this film. And this heart has, this film actually has a lot of heart, which is part of what makes it so great, and kind of what makes it different and so unique and special when compared to other superhero films. It has a lot of heart, and that's one of this movie's strongest suits, which lead to a lot of emotional moments, especially towards the end, which made me like was part of what made me realize that I didn't just like this movie. I loved it. Sorry, I had a little like brain moment there, brain pause. Sorry about that. This movie is slow like in the first half, but slow in a good way. I will admit that in like the first half of this movie, towards the middle of the first half of this movie, I was just like, the pacing is good here, but it could be a little better. But other than that, all the rest of the pacing in this movie is great. it's a slow burn, but it's worth it, and it needs to be slow to build up character. I seriously mean that. And to build up to moments. And it's its own kind of like. Anyway, it's part of what makes it its own little special film, unique film. And this movie kind of takes place over one event, which kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. But, this movie was a pleasant surprise. I expected something totally different going in, and I got something that was better than I expected going out. This film was terrific, and there was sorry, one actor in the movie, and I apologize for my sniffles. There was hopefully next time I'm filming a YouTube video, I'll be better. My sickness will have gone away mostly, I guess. Anyway, there was one actor in here I was just like, this guy looks familiar. He's not like a main character, he's like a side character. But I was like, he looks familiar. And then afterwards, when I viewed his profile on Rotten Tomatoes, I was just like, this guy looks like Robbie from Cobra Kai. And I was like, it is Robbie from Cobra Kai. Oh my gosh. Didn't recognize him at first. He played like Apollo in this movie. Anyway, he was great when he was there. He's only in the movie for like 10 minutes, but who cares? Anyway, this film is terrific, and it's not a comedy movie, but it does have some comedic moments in it, and the comedic moments are great. It's a really good superhero movie and a really good family drama. And no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, or how you stand politically, you could love this movie. I certainly do. I like it better than Shut In and Run, Hide, Fight, actually, and I love those two movies. But, I like this one better. Anyway, I'm going to give this movie an 87% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A-. This movie was, very cinematic, and it's terrific cinema. Anyway, like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return. And hopefully, I'll get better soon. And once again, I apologize. I apologize for all this and for my sniffling and coughing and stuff like that. So I'm sorry. I will return.